If you are trying to conceive, a positive ovulation test is like a positive pregnancy test. Just talk to your doctor. Don't do any of this. I'm not a doctor. I'm sharing with you my personal experiences with infertility, how I use CLOMID, and how I conceived. Please don't take my words as that of a professional. Guys, don't focus on my background. All you need to focus on me because I have an announcement and I haven't gotten anywhere else to do this video because I have been busy with school. But something happened. Something happened while we were schooling. I'm being a wifey. I'm being a mommy. Can you even tell? Sometimes when I wear clothes like this, you can't tell. But I'm pregnant. I think it's time to say that I am a student mom. I pray that that blood that is always reoccurring will not show. Somebody's for my career, somebody's voice. And I need to finish this video. So the two pregnancies I said I have had, it has had to be induced. It has had to be induced because is that what I'm supposed to refer to myself as? But I'm here to share how this happened. This happened miraculously. This is one of Allah's blessings in my life. I remember in one of my videos that I shared how I had troubles with menstruation while growing up. I had a bit of infertility issue in the first few years of marriage. I had this trouble with being a girl, with being a woman, but Allah showed me that His mercies are enormous and He can pour those mercies on whoever He pleases at whatever time. Guys, my family is blessed with 2 boys, and the 2 pregnancies I have had, it has had to be assisted. If you checked the video before this where I announced my pregnancy or where I carried out the test and found that I was pregnant, it had to even tell somebody, oh, 1 minute, guys, let me turn on the AC. I hope it's not so long, but I'm getting hot. I'm in the discussion room of my university, but I need to quickly do this video because there's nobody here right now, so I'm thinking about good lighting before we get distracted. I dwelled too much. I was too confident in my negativity. What do I mean by this? Like I would tell people like I can't get pregnant without being assisted. I can't get pregnant without taking drugs. I can't get pregnant without going through without having my ovulation being induced. But Allah showed me His mercy. Oh my God. Even while I knew that my period was late for a few days, it still didn't occur to me that I could be pregnant because it had never happened. You know, if people that can resonate with this story are people that have been trying to conceive, you would keep running the pregnancy test. It's hard to get a negative test. For those that are getting the constant negative, I pray that Allah change your negative answers to positive, inshallah. Here's the backstory. So the first year of marriage, considering that I already knew all these imbalances, I was still dealing with hyprolactin. Is it hyperprolactinemia? I can't remember what this is called, but I knew that I was dealing with what this simply means is that while I am not breastfeeding or I'm not pregnant, I will be producing breast milk. This is not normal. It means that hormone is my body's telling my hormones are telling my body something different. So they are probably telling them, oh, this person is breastfeeding and this person does not need to get pregnant. Something around that. That was the way the gynecologist that explained to me initially. So there's a wrong signal. So the doctor said, oh, we might need to induce the ovulation. So I started this procedure. It's been years now. I don't know why I cannot remember all these things right now. That's why it's always good to put down notes on issues. Right? That's why it's always good to journal on days like this that you want to share those stories or just document them. So I started with the procedure. I would go to the hospital. So I think from once I'm done with my period, the doctor would tell me to come in. We would run a series of scans to check where the egg is at. I think I would go every other day. There was a particular time I would go every other day. Then probably towards the time that I feel that it's ovulation time, we would check every day. So I took these injections. I would go to the hospital at prescribed time each day. And I would take these injections. But to cut the long story short, it didn't work. I didn't get pregnant. After 2 trials, I didn't get pregnant. So one of those days, I was speaking to one of my friends who we also share the same struggle. Please don't try this. Don't try this thing that I did. It was just a last favor. I would not advise. Please make sure you are consulting your doctor, whatever it is that you're doing. So I was just tired, and I was speaking to one of my friends who had similar situations with infertility. So she told me about CLOMID that her doctor. She has also tried different procedures that our doctor recommended CLOMID at this point in time. So I went online, checked what CLOMID is meant for, how it is being used, what day is being used. So she told me she was using 10 mg, which is 2 tablets per day. So I think you take it on the third day, seventh day, fifth day, third day, fifth day, seventh day. I can't remember what this is. Now that's what I'm saying. Please talk to your doctor. Don't do any of this. I'm not a doctor. I'm sharing with you my personal experiences with infertility, how I use CLOMID and how I conceived. Please don't take my words as that of a professional. So I did this instead of the 10 mg because I read about the side effect. I was like, okay, I'm going to try with the 5 mg. I just wish I had not thrown the ovulation test kits that I had. I had a number of them because even while I was doing the initial procedure, I would test for ovulation. If you are trying to conceive, a positive ovulation test is like a positive pregnancy test. God, alhamdulillah. This period were tough period of my life, but alhamdulillah. So I would run this ovulation test religiously, and that's prescribed time. Take for instance, the first day I start checking for my ovulation is 11 o'clock on day 3. I will check 11 o'clock up until I'm done with the kits that I have. So I kept checking for, so I used this CLOMID on those days, and I checked on this beautiful day. I checked, and I got a positive ovulation test results. That has to be one of my happiest days. I'm like, what? The eggs are here. Really, before I carried out the test, I was feeling some type of way in one side of my tongue. I can't remember which one, either right or left. But I was feeling some kind of way. So I knew that it seemed like something is happening in my body. That night, I made sure that this man, we are going nowhere, we are not missing this days. It's time to fire and pray to Allah. Thankfully, Allah answered our prayer and we conceived our first baby through this process. So that you get what I mean by I haven't been pregnant without being assisted. Like my body does not naturally ovulate or produce egg on its own. Whatever egg is producing is for menstruation. So for my that was how alhamdulillah, we were blessed with our first son. And a few years down the line, it was time for us to also go again. So we kept trying months and months out. Meanwhile, before this, I would always take supplements like folic acid and some prenatal vitamins. I always ensure that I do that because I was also preparing my eggs for them to be healthy. I was also preparing my body for healthy production of good eggs. So I would also take prenatal vitamin, bearing in mind that I'd already seen a gynecologist before now. So some of those drugs that the gynecologist recommended, I started using them again. And I also changed my diet. I was being careful about what was going in. Over time, I've realized that the food that we eat, the things we put in our mouth, are contributing factor to whatever, especially for women, for whatever is going on in our body. So the second time, we kept trying for months. I wasn't the pressure was not as much as the first time because I'm like, oh, we already have a baby, so let's just keep trying until it happens. And I was not in my baby was around 2 years plus around this time. Was it 2 years? It was almost 2 years old, I think. I knew that I wanted them to have like 2.5 to 3 years age gap between them. So we started trying. I'm not sure specifically if it was at 2 years. Okay, I think it was at 2 years old. So or before 2 years old, we started trying. I was just like, okay, let's just try whatever time it happened. So it didn't happen until I think it was 2 years, or almost 2 years. Like I said earlier, I'm so sorry that I can't remember. I can't recall the day specifically, but it did happen. I tried. So when I saw that, I kept trying, and it didn't happen. I was like, it's about time to go try CLOMID again. Bearing in mind that you have to be mindful if you are taking CLOMID. If you are taking it for a number of times, there are some side effects. One, you can have your ovaries can become inflamed, you can have excessive production of eggs, chances of having multiple pregnancies is very high. So there are a number of factors that I'm also looking at, and I didn't want to use CLOMID again, but I just had to try. I tried it for the second time, the same way I did the first time. I already knew the days, so I tried again for the second time. Checked for my ovulation, got the positive ovulation. I'm fired back. Exactly the month that we did this was the same month I got pregnant. So I'm one of those people that once I got pregnant, I knew I was pregnant because once I wait for I think 7 days past ovulation. No, what's it called? I can't remember what this terminology. I used to remember all these things before. So once it was a few days past my period, the days that I expected that my period was going to show up and it didn't show up, I would just go straight to buying pregnancy strips and try. I saw the 2 lines, even though it was fake. So I went ahead to do um, the blood tests and it confirmed that I was truly pregnant. So this time, how the miracle pregnancy, miraculous pregnancy happened? My second baby is over 2 years. It's going to be 3 years in a few months. And I can tell you for a fact, particularly in this 2024, I'm one of those people, you know that TikTok sound that will say, oh, what you want to achieve by the end of 2024. When I see this, I'm like, hey, no, I'm not in for this year. I'm sending this to, if I have those videos, I'll put them. I'm sending this to all those who are waiting on alarm, who wants this beautiful blessing, but I'm not one of them. But one thing I can tell you for that I have been doing before now is, if Allah, well, I would still want to try for another baby, but if Allah has tested that this will happen, then I do not want to go through CLOMID again because I've used it twice. I remember that I said that it had some side effects. I'm like, I have 2 boys, I'm okay, but I would still want to try for one more girl. We always want to try for the other gender, you know, but I would still want to try. Guys, I'm running out of breath, but I'm going to finish this conversation standing up. I hope it turns out good because I don't know, I just placed my camera here and we're having this conversation. So I started the year with very bright notes. In fact, I started the 75 days hard challenge. I don't know if it's 75 days hard challenge that balanced all the hormones, that made the body get ready and prepared. I don't know, but one thing I can tell you, since, if you have been following me, I have lost over 15 to 20 kg since my last baby. So I went on a weight loss journey. I started taking care of myself. I was being intentional about my health, what was going in. I was exercising, being conscious of whatever it is. I started taking care of my body in general. But this year I was like, oh, I needed to lose around 5 kg. You know the way you start the year on a good note. You want to be healthy, you want to lose weight, you want to read this amount of book, you want to go back to school. So for me, doing the 75 days hard was also one of my goals for the year. So I started, and guys, before I knew it, I just noticed that I started sleeping. I'm not one of those people that sleep all the time, particularly in the afternoon. Any little thing, I'm off. I was like, is this stress from school? Considering that it's been months since I started my PhD, so I was like, is it the stress of school? Is it that my body is not used to this thing? Maybe I'm adjusting to the stress of going back to school, combining it with motherhood and being a wife, because I've never done this before. The few times, all the times I have gone to school in my life, it has been during the time that I was single, I was all by myself, without baby, without husband responsibility. Oh, sorry, I got distracted by that. Without all those kind of responsibilities. So I'm like, maybe my body is just adjusting. Little did I know that the bond is growing. I didn't know that the series, the 100 to 400 million spermatozoids my husband released. This is too raw. I didn't know that one of them had another plan, another agenda for me. And it caught up with my head. We can't get to guest you. We'll continue with our story.